Hey y'all, today I want to talk about something really close to my heart. It's a story of incredible strength and love. It's the story of a mother, Mary, and what happened after she watched her son, Jesus, on the cross. Can you even imagine that pain? Standing there watching your child suffer? The Bible tells us she was right there at the foot of the cross. I can just picture it. Her heart must have been completely shattered into a million pieces. Every hope, every dream, every sweet memory of him as a little boy probably flashed before her eyes. That kind of grief is a storm, a hurricane of sadness that feels like it will never, ever end. She was witnessing the unthinkable, a pain that no mother should ever have to bear. Think about the sheer courage it took for her to just be there. She didn't run away. She didn't hide from the horror. She stood her ground, a silent, powerful presence in his final moments. Her love for him was so strong it anchored her to that spot. It was a love that said, "I am here. You're not alone." That's a mother's love, isn't it? It's fierce, it's unconditional, and it shows up, especially when things are at their absolute worst. She was probably surrounded by the sounds of crying and mocking, yet her focus was solely on her son. Her presence was a final gift of comfort, a testament to a bond that even death could not break. Even in his own agony, Jesus thought of his mother. That just gets me every time. He looked down from the cross and saw her standing with his beloved disciple, John. He said to Mary, "Woman, here is your son," and then he told John, "Here is your mother." In that moment of immense suffering, he was making sure she would be cared for. He was creating a new family, bound not by blood, but by love and loyalty. He knew John would protect her, would give her a home, and would honor her as his own mother. It shows his incredible compassion, thinking of others even as he faced the end of his earthly life. This act was so much more than just a practical arrangement. It was a profound statement of love. Jesus was entrusting his most precious person on earth to his most trusted friend. He was ensuring that the woman who brought him into the world would be wrapped in care and community after he was gone. For Mary, this must have been a small flicker of light in the overwhelming darkness of that day. It was a promise that she would not be left to face her grief alone. A new chapter of her life, one she never expected, was beginning right there, in the shadow of the cross, built on a foundation of her son's enduring love. So, what happened next? After that terrible day, the Bible tells us that John took Mary into his own home, just like that. He honored Jesus' final wish without a second thought. This wasn't just a temporary place to stay, it was a new life for Mary. She became a cherished member of John's household. Imagine the comfort that must have brought her. To be surrounded by someone who had loved Jesus so deeply, someone who shared her memories and her sorrow. They would have spent countless hours talking about him, remembering his teachings, his miracles, and his incredible love for people. Their shared grief would have created a powerful, unbreakable bond between them. Living with John, Mary wasn't just an elderly mother being cared for. She became a central figure, a living connection to Jesus for the very first Christians. People would have looked at her with such reverence and awe. She was the one who knew him best. She had held him as a baby, taught him his first words, and watched him grow into the man who would change the world. Her presence was a constant living reminder of the reality of Jesus' life on earth. She wasn't just a story, she was the walking, breathing beginning of that story. She was a source of strength and wisdom for this new budding community of believers. Tradition tells us that Mary didn't just stay in Jerusalem. As the early church began to face persecution, many believers had to scatter. It's widely believed that John, keeping his promise to protect Mary, took her with him on his journey to a city called Ephesus. This would have been a huge move for her, leaving her homeland behind. But her faith was her guide. Ephesus was a busy, bustling city, a major center in the Roman Empire. It was here that a new, thriving Christian community was taking root. Mary's journey there shows her complete trust in God's plan, following where he led, even into the unknown. In Ephesus, Mary continued to be a quiet, powerful influence. She wasn't a preacher or a public leader in the way the apostles were. Her role was different. She was the heart of the community. Her home, with John, would have been a place of peace and prayer. The early believers would have come to her, not just for stories about Jesus, but for the sense of peace and holiness that surrounded her. She was a living testament to a life of saying yes to God. Her gentle spirit and unwavering faith would have been a powerful inspiration to everyone who was just starting their own journey of faith in a challenging world. Once they settled in Ephesus, which is in modern-day Turkey, Mary's life took on a new rhythm. She lived a humble and prayerful existence. Think about it, y'all. She was the mother of the Savior, yet she didn't seek fame or power. She lived a simple life, likely in a small stone house. Today you can actually visit a place near Ephesus that is revered as the House of the Virgin Mary. Pilgrims from all over the world go there to feel a connection to her peaceful spirit. Her life there was a testament to humility. She supported the early church not with grand speeches, but with her constant prayers and her powerful, quiet presence. She was the ultimate example of faith in action. Her days in Ephesus were spent as a spiritual mother to the growing community of Christians. The apostles and other followers would have sought her out. Can you imagine the conversations they had? She could tell them stories about Jesus' childhood that no one else knew. She could share the details of the angel's visit, the journey to Bethlehem, and the flight to Egypt. Her memories provided a rich personal texture to the story of salvation. She wasn't just recounting events. She was sharing the feelings, the fears, and the immense joy of her journey with Jesus. She helped these early believers understand Jesus not just as a divine figure, but as a real person who lived and loved. Mary's role was absolutely vital. In a world full of doubts and dangers for the new faith, she was a rock. Her unwavering belief was an anchor for everyone around her. She had seen it all, from the miracle of his birth to the horror of his death and the glory of his resurrection. When others' faith might have wavered, they could look to her. She was living proof that the story was true. She had carried the Son of God, and now she carried the story of his love in her heart, sharing it generously with all who would listen. Her presence gave the early church a deep sense of history and continuity, connecting them directly back to Jesus himself. Her life in Ephesus was a beautiful continuation of her yes to God. From the moment the angel Gabriel appeared to her, Mary's life was one of complete trust and obedience. She continued to live out that surrender every single day. She served the church by being a source of comfort, wisdom, and prayer. She showed everyone what it looked like to build your life around Jesus. Her quiet strength and deep spirituality were a guiding light, helping the first generation of Christians navigate the challenges of their time and build a community that would go on to change the course of history forever. She was, and still is, a model of discipleship. As Mary grew older, the story of her life entered its final beautiful chapter. While the Bible doesn't describe the end of her life, ancient traditions held by many Christians, especially in the Catholic and Orthodox churches, paint a beautiful picture. These traditions say that she didn't experience death in the same way we do. Instead of her body decaying, it's believed that when her earthly life was over, she was taken up body and soul into heaven. This is known as the Assumption of Mary. It's seen as a special gift from God, honoring the woman who gave Jesus his human body. It's a promise of the resurrection that awaits all believers. This belief in her assumption is a powerful statement about her unique place in history. It completes her story in a way that feels so right. She was the first and most perfect disciple of Jesus. She was with him at the beginning, and this tradition holds that she was granted a special reunion with him at the end. It suggests that her body, the holy vessel that carried the Son of God, was too precious to be left to corruption. This beautiful belief offers a sense of hope and wonder, pointing toward the ultimate victory over death that Jesus promised. It's a final, glorious chapter for a life lived in complete service and love for God. Mary's entire journey, from the cross to her final days, is a powerful story of faith. She is a symbol of what it means to love Jesus with every fiber of your being. Her life shows us that even in the face of unimaginable pain and loss, faith can provide strength and purpose. She never stopped trusting in God's plan, even when it led her through the deepest valleys of sorrow. Her story isn't just about a historical figure. It's a personal invitation to all of us. It shows us that a life dedicated to Jesus is a life filled with grace, purpose, and ultimately eternal joy. Her legacy is one of unwavering love. So what can we take away from this amazing story today? Mary's life is a call to action for every single one of us. It challenges us to look at our own lives and ask how we are showing our love for Jesus. Are we saying yes to God like she did? Are we standing by the people we love in their toughest times? Are we sharing the story of his goodness with others? Let's be inspired by her courage, her humility, and her incredible faith. Let's find our own ways to live out our love for Jesus today, tomorrow, and every day. Let's make our lives a song of love for him. Y'all have a blessed day.